Jay Leno owns over 180 cars. He's been on every magazine cover, every talk show, every documentary. You think you know his collection. You don't. Today, we pull back the curtain. We go beyond the TV specials, beyond the YouTube tours. We reveal the cars Jay himself barely talks about, and the dark, incredible, almost unbelievable stories behind them. Stay until the end, because number one will change how you see his entire collection. Most people know Jay Leno as the king of late-night television. 22 years hosting The Tonight Show. The silver hair, the perfect timing, the safe jokes. But behind those studio doors, a different obsession was growing. This building, tucked away in Burbank, California, houses one of the most extraordinary private vehicle collections ever assembled. 180 cars, 160 motorcycles, worth an estimated $50 to $100 million. But value isn't the story here, because buried inside this garage are machines that museums have never seen. Cars that survived wars, vehicles that changed the world and were then forgotten by it. This is the real story, and we're starting the countdown now.
Number 10, 1909 Stanley Steamer. Before gasoline, before asphalt highways, before traffic lights even existed, this car was already racing. The 1909 Stanley Steamer, a vehicle powered entirely by steam. And Jay Leno doesn't just own one, he drives it. Regularly, on modern roads. Here's what nobody tells you about this car. In 1906, a Stanley Steamer set the land speed record. 127 miles per hour. Faster than any gasoline car of its era. Faster than most cars would go for another 30 years. And then the world moved on. Ford happened. Oil happened. Steam was forgotten. Jay didn't forget. Number 9, 1917 brass-era chain drive. World War I had just ended. The world was devastated. And engineers desperate to use military technology for something, anything peaceful, started building automobiles using leftover tank parts. Jay owns one of the last surviving examples of this era, a vehicle where the technology of war was literally reborn as civilian transportation. When you look at this car, you're not just looking at automotive history. You're looking at what humanity does after catastrophe. It rebuilds, it reinvents. Jay Leno understands that, which is why this car sits in his garage today, perfectly restored, ready to run.
Number 8, 1931 Bugatti Type 41 Royale replica. Ettore Bugatti built the Type 41 Royale for European royalty. 6 were made. Each one cost more than a house. Each engine displays 12.7 liters, the same size as a small aircraft engine. Jay owns one of the most faithful recreations ever built, and when he fires it up, you understand immediately why kings wanted it. This car doesn't drive, it rules. But here's the real story. The original Royale survived World War II hidden in the Paris sewers, their owners terrified the Nazis would seize them. For 4 years, these automobiles sat underground in darkness, waiting. Jay's version carries that legacy. Every time it rolls out into sunlight, it's a small victory for beauty over destruction. Number 7, 1958 Ford Edsel. The Ford Edsel is perhaps the most famous failure in automotive history. Ford spent $400 million, equivalent to over $4 billion today, designing, marketing, and launching it. They called it the car of the future. They ran full-page ads. They had celebrities endorse it. America rejected it completely. Within 2 years, Ford discontinued the entire line. Today, a pristine Edsel is worth a fortune. Jay Leno owns one, and he's made a fascinating point about it in interviews. He says the Edsel wasn't actually a bad car. It was a marketing failure. It was overpromised and underdelivered, and in trying to do everything to everyone, it became nothing. Sound familiar? That lesson applies to almost everything, including YouTube channels. Number 6, 1939 Mercedes-Benz 540K. 1939, Europe is on the edge of catastrophe. Hitler's Germany is producing 2 things at maximum capacity: weapons and the most beautiful automobile the world has ever seen. The Mercedes-Benz 540K was both a masterpiece and a symbol of evil. Built for Nazi high command, driven by some of history's worst men.
Jay Leno owns one, and he's been asked about it directly, uncomfortably in interviews.
Number 5, 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car.
In 1963, Chrysler built 55 turbine-powered cars. Not concept cars, not prototypes for an auto show. Real cars, handed to real Americans to drive for free. These cars ran on almost anything. Diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, tequila. Yes, tequila was actually tested. The program lasted 2 years. Then Chrysler recalled almost every single car and destroyed them. All but 9 survived. Jay Leno owns one of those 9. This car shouldn't exist. Every force of corporate and political pressure pushed toward its destruction. And yet, here it is, surviving, running, in a garage in Burbank. Sometimes the things that should have died don't. Number 4, 1966 McLaren M1B Can-Am. Bruce McLaren was 32 years old when he built this car. He was also one of the finest racing drivers in the world, a gifted engineer, and a man who fundamentally changed how race cars are designed. 3 years after this car raced, Bruce McLaren was dead, killed testing another vehicle at Goodwood in 1970. He was 32 years old. Jay Leno's McLaren M1B isn't just a race car. It's a memorial to what happens when genius is cut short. And when Jay drives it, on a closed track, the engine screaming, he's not just driving a car, he's driving a ghost.
Number 3, 1907 White Steamer, the ghost of the collection.
There is one car in Jay Leno's collection that almost no automotive historian has documented. A 1907 white steam car, predating almost every automotive convention we take for granted. No ignition key, no conventional brakes as we know them, no chassis design that resembles anything built after 1915. Jay acquired it from an estate sale. The family had no idea what they had. Historians had lost track of this specific vehicle for decades. When Jay's team first fired it up, for the first time in over 40 years, the steam built, the pistons moved, and it ran perfectly. A 117-year-old machine, running, as if time had no authority over it. Some things are built to last forever. Number 2, 2006 EcoJet, the car he built from scratch. In 2011, Jay Leno was working on a 1907 white steam car in his garage. There was a flame. There was a fire. The fire engulfed his hand, his face. He suffered third-degree burns across significant portions of his body. He checked himself into a burn center. He refused to let the story become about pity. And the first thing he said when he got out was that he wanted to get back in the garage. The EcoJet, a car he designed himself, powered by a turbine engine, built as a collaboration with General Motors, represents Jay's relationship with machines more than any other vehicle. These things can hurt you badly, and you still go back. Because some loves are worth the scars.
Number 1, 1994 McLaren F1, the greatest car ever built. In 1992, Gordon Murray sat down and decided to build the greatest car ever made. No budget limit, no compromises, no mercy. The result was the McLaren F1, a carbon fiber monocoque, a naturally aspirated BMW V12, a gold-lined engine bay because gold reflects heat better than any other material. 3 seats, the driver in the center, flanked by 2 passengers. 627 horsepower in 1992 without a turbocharger. It held the title of world's fastest production car for 12 years. 240 miles per hour, a record that stood until the Bugatti Veyron arrived in 2005. Only 106 were ever built. Jay Leno owns one. But here's the part nobody talks about. Jay Leno bought his McLaren F1 in 1999. He paid $800,000. Today, McLaren F1s sell at auction for over $20 million. Some have touched $25 million. He has never sold it. In a world where everything is measured by its resale value, where people flip sneakers, flip NFTs, flip houses, Jay Leno has sat on a car that has multiplied 25 times in value. And he drives it regularly on public roads. Because for Jay Leno, these machines were never investments. They were always love.
180 cars. Over a century of history, wars survived, corporations defeated, fires endured. Jay Leno's collection isn't just about wealth or fame. It's about what happens when one person decides that the forgotten things deserve to be remembered. Every car in that garage was once forgotten, neglected, abandoned, and Jay found them. Which car surprised you most? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more stories about the cars the world forgot, you know where to find them. Hidden Motors. Discover what time forgot.